take 3 of this video. Ah, where have I been? Part of the reason why I disappeared off YouTube is because of this, because about 3 videos in, and 3 attempts rather at this video. Right, okay. Hello everybody, it's been a while. Joe here. Where have I been? I've been busy doing other things. I was in a land project. The Stride to Living community fell apart at the end of the beginning of this year. I put my my lodges on booking.com in December. I got really busy with people going on holiday. I've since put them with a company, slowed down a little bit. We'll see how it goes. And I completely regressed from anything archaics, anything conspiratorial, anything to do with YouTube. I regressed from everything because my head started to get, I literally started questioning everything about this reality. And when I say everything, I mean everything. And I had all these ideas of what this world was, and I couldn't formulate any of it in my head. And I started to question the legitimacy of Jason's work. And the reason why I started to question the legitimacy is not based on the work that he's done and the books he's read. It's based on, if there's a simulation, they can basically throw anything at us and have us all believing various different things, which indeed actually does happen. So I've come to the gnosis with that. All these histories that people believe happened, and the different variations of those histories, they all happened. That's the timeline. Sorry, that's the conclusion I've come to, is that they were all simultaneously happening at the same time, but on different timelines. And I know it's really hard for people to grasp that as a potentiality. Now, here's where I come from with that. So, yes, I've questioned, is this a simulation? Because we don't categorically know. What I think we can say and believe to be true is that this is a quantum universe, so anything is possible. So everything operates at a vibrational level. This desk, for example, is spirit and matter, but the matter is vibrating at a much deeper density, or a lower density, as I am. So it becomes a much more solid object. If all those atoms were to stop vibrating, poof, everything would disappear. So that's how I get my head around the whole simulation. The simulation. Now, of course, there are probably different variations of what is actually a simulation. Another reason why I believe that this is a simulation. So, those who know me know I've had quite a few paranormal experiences. And I don't just mean feathers landing in really odd places. I basically had things fall into my timeline. And a couple of weeks ago, I had things disappear out of my timeline, things moving. So we'll go to the first instance. This happened about 7 to 10 years ago. I was sat on these big orange cushions, and I got up to go into the kitchen, and I walked 1, 2, 3 steps. I heard a dink dink. I came back into the living room, and there's an air freshener slap bang in the centre of these cushions. My first thought was, there's somebody in the house. So I kind of froze momentarily with a little bit of fear, thinking, shit, there's someone in the house. So I thought, do I go and run and get a knife? But then I looked around, all the cats were fast asleep. So I was like, right, okay. There's nobody in the house. How the fuck has that got there? That was literally in the bathroom directly above where it had landed. So when my then boyfriend arrived, we tried, of course, because we tried to put a logical spin on these eventualities. So we thought maybe the cat had played with it upstairs and it's bounced down the stairs. Well, then that would have it would have taken more than a couple of seconds for me to have got up off the cushions, walked a couple of steps into the bathroom, into the kitchen. It would have made a hell of a noise, and there was absolutely no way it could have bounced from the bottom of the stairs onto the cushions. So then my then boyfriend said, well, was it outside? Was it the next to the sofa? I said, even if it was next to the sofa, how on earth did it get there? So that was one paranormal activity. It was almost like a portal had opened and it had just dropped down. But whatever happened, it wanted to pull me back into the room because I'd literally walked 2 steps. I heard the dink dink. I came back in. And then about a month later, I got home from the stables and there was all these orange marks. All my walls were painted white and there was all these orange marks dotted around the kitchen. My first thought was the cats were bleeding. I know it was orange, but, you know, again, I tried to put a logical spin on what I was seeing. So I checked all the cats. None of them had been bleeding. And they were in really odd places. And I photographed all of this, by the way. I photographed the cushion, the air freshener on the cushion. So I opened the conservatory door and one of my cat litters had been moved, and again I tried to put a logical spin on it. The cats have run through and they've moved it, but a cat litter, a box full of cat litter and a dirty cat litter, because I hadn't had a chance to clean it out yet, there's no way a cat just running through would have been able to push it to where it was. It had literally been repositioned. Started taking photographs. There were all these orbs. So that was quite a few years ago. And then just last week, I was throwing a tennis ball for Rufus up and down the lodge because he likes to chase tennis balls. And I had a maiden full of clothes up, so I threw a tennis ball and it landed in amongst the clothes that were trailing on the floor. So I picked up the pillowcase, no tennis ball. Scoured everywhere. As you can see the furniture behind there, I looked under the furniture, I looked behind the furniture, I looked under this sofa, which is here. I looked everywhere in that vicinity. Nowhere. It just disappeared out of my timeline. So I rang my friend Joe, who I've done a video with previously, so anyone that watched that will know what I'm talking about. I was like, you never guess what happened. And I said, you can bet your bottom dollar when I get home it's in this room. And I said, I bet it's by the door. And when I got home, it was by the door. And then the following morning, I woke up and my laptop had been shifted and it was now on an angle, but it had been pushed quite far back to the back of the desk. And my stereo had equally been pushed. And again, I tried to put a logical spin on it. Rufus had been up here, he's been looking for things to play with, and he's moved it. Not that he would. I mean, cats don't push things to that degree. And it just wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened. But the kicker for that was that the jack that plugs in my stereo to my laptop had been unplugged. Unless Rufus has grown a thumb overnight, there's no way that he's unplugged the jack. So where I'm going with this is I watched a video of Jason's. It was a really brilliant discussion, actually. It was about the Mandela effect. And if anybody's not heard of the Mandela effect, go off and do a bit of research on it. It's basically things that are changing in our timeline. For example, the thinking man. I remember the thinking man, he sat there and he's got his fist on his forehead. He's now got it on his chin. Yeah, so it's things like that are changing in this timeline. And Jason and the guys were calling them edits. And I was like, oh my God, I wonder if that happened. That's what happened with me. They were edits. It was a glitch in the system. So that's kind of where I stand now with past timelines simultaneously existing And they happened. The different histories, they actually happened. Because I can sit here all day long and argue simulation theory, but I've experienced. Now, yes, okay, we can discuss that. Well, it was, the Christians will call it a demon, the Muslims will call it a jinn, or however you pronounce it, some kind of demon, a mischievous demon. I don't believe that, because that's not where my paradigm sits with that's not where my belief is. I don't have any kind of faith like that. So whatever spirit was doing it, if a spirit did do it, then I believe it was a friendly spirit, you know. But I also think, so I had other things happen, which I just thought was a misplacement of something. Like, I'd get up in the morning and the towel that I'd used the night before rather, and I'd put it on the banister, it wasn't there. And I started to question, am I sleepwalking? Because these things were happening on a regular basis. Like, I got up one morning and I opened the drawer with all my cutlery in, and the cutlery had been moved over to the other side of the cutlery box it was in. And I was like, am I sleepwalking? And of course, then the air freshener incident happened. And I believe that whatever was trying to communicate with me was trying to show me, hey, you need to open your eyes and see what's happening here. So that's where I sit with the paranormal activity now, and it kind of solidifies that things aren't as we appear them to be in this reality. Is there anything else I wanted to discuss with this? I watched a video of a young lad who's literally 13 years of age discussing the Mandela effect. What a smart kid. And he's basically talking about these different timelines that are existing at the same time. And he's saying that those of us that are noticing these things, we're in a different universe. Whoa, get your head around that. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna put the video with the young lad underneath, and I'll also put the conversation from Jason and the Discord lot underneath as well. But I just wanted to share my experience as an introduction coming back into YouTube. I don't know how many videos I'm going to do, because I don't know, come summertime, hopefully people will start going on holiday. I don't know how busy I'm going to be. I don't know, learning more and more, formulating the information, and it's just processing it all in my head. Anyway, I'll stop waffling as I always do. That hasn't changed about me. Hopefully I'll be on a podcast, Drake, Michigan, I think they're called. Yeah, they're called Drake, Michigan. A guy wants me to go on and have a chat about what I've been learning with Jason's stuff, and potentially my experiences and the New Age stuff. My original video was to talk about the New Age BS again. I've addressed it previously, but somebody sent me a video last night, and this guy was basically putting everything under New Age, Gnosticism, Buddhism, and the two previous attempts at this video were discussing that, and it obviously let's call it AIX. It obviously didn't want me to do that video, so I just thought I'd tell you about my edits in my reality. Anyway, guys, nice chatting to you all. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.